News Headlines is presented by Calvo's Insurance, serving Guam for 80 years. Matson and the Adahi Tanu program. Cars Plus reminds you to put your phone down while driving. Distractions won't get you there. Heads Up Guam, IP&E, fueling excellence. McDonald's of Guam, I'm loving it, and King's Restaurant, located in Tamuning and Dedido. Always open, always local.
Coming up on Guam's Primetime News, Verona Hotel employees say enough is enough. They want to get paid. Chris Barnett has full details. Plus, 2 of 3 people wanted for questioning in a string of thefts and considered armed and dangerous have self-surrendered. And Carmen Victoria Terlahi has more on the Romeo and Juliet law, which went up for a public hearing today. Half a day, everybody, and good evening. Show us the money. 15 Verona Resort and Spa employees who say they're tired of paycheck problems have filed a complaint at the Department of Labor. Our Chris Barnett was on the scene and has more in our top story.
Front desk and housekeeping employees at Verona Hotel calling out the big boss, owner David Su. The employees telling KUAM News they're sick and tired of bounced paychecks and empty promises. Verona worker Kathy Salenga.
Mr. Su, please give us our money. Enough is enough.
15 Verona employees storming the Department of Labor this morning. The workers telling KUAM News they've had paychecks bounce, and when they do get paid, sometimes it's only a partial payment. Verona housekeeping worker Arlene Warren tells us even though she works hard for the hotel, she says her paycheck has been consistently inconsistent. She's behind in her rent and has had to turn to family for help feeding her children.
I worry about my kids, where I can find money for their food or their things to buy for them.
Lawrence Talley tells us he was paid partial wages 2 months ago, and he's been waiting for the balance ever since.
I just wonder why he cannot pay us. We do all the work for him.
Verona security guard Azelle Simon details the frustration Verona workers say they experience.
When we do get our checks on Friday, and that's very rare that we get our checks on time on Friday, we can't cash them because the funds are not in the bank. Sometimes you have to go a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I've had 3 checks in my pocket at one time that I couldn't cash.
The hotel's employees sharing how not getting paid what they're owed affects their bottom line and their families.
This is all the time. So today's my son's birthday and I don't have nothing right now.
Bills are going delinquent.
The employees filing wage and hour complaints with the Department of Labor and KUAM News files show they aren't the first or even the second group of Verona employees to do so. Our files showing Verona employees filed similar complaints in 2014, 2015, 2016, and 2017. Yet, DOL Director David Della Sola couldn't say if this repeat violator of wage and hour laws has ever been penalized for doing the same thing over and over and over again. The director telling us employees' complaints will be taken seriously.
Very serious. I mean, we all don't want to be on their shoes where we don't get our paychecks on time. So we will work it, and like everybody else, people run into financial difficulties, both sides, both employers and employees.
We went to the Verona Hotel to try and track down Mr. David Su. Instead, we had a sit down with the hotel's executive assistant manager, Jose Nadres. He tells KUAM News employees should be getting paid tomorrow.
We just got a confirmation from Mr. Su through his partners in Taiwan that they have transferred the money already, and we should be able to get it by today. Then all the paychecks will be paid, but no later than tomorrow, lunchtime.
And so the employees we interviewed said that this has been a problem that they've been
Sir,
having for a couple years.
I'm not so sure what happened previously.
Have you been paid?
Well, for me, I'm a manager. I get paid every month.
Reason for the delay this time? The check is in the mail, so to speak. DOL Director Della Sola saying the hotel told him a delayed wire transfer was the reason for pay problems. Verona employees, meanwhile, respond by saying they want a check they can take to the bank and cash without any problems. For Guam's News Network, Chris Barnett reports.
Now, Su, the owner of the Verona, is the Chinese Chamber of Commerce's Development Committee chairman. That hotel is currently being sued by the Attorney General for not paying over $325,000 in taxes dating back as far as 2013. Elsewhere tonight, 2 of 3 people wanted for questioning in a string of thefts and robberies turned themselves in. 40-year-old Xavier Tatautau and 26-year-old Johanna Paulina Babalta were arrested Friday afternoon. GPD says the two self-surrendered. As you may recall, last Thursday, GPD released a public service announcement for 3 people wanted for questioning relative to a rash of robberies and thefts. Now, of the 3, 36-year-old William Yamnang remains at large and should not be approached because he is considered to be armed and dangerous. If you have seen Yamnang or know of his whereabouts, you are urged to call GPD's dispatchers at 472-8911 or call the folks at Guam Crime Stoppers. Their number for the hotline is 477-HELP. That's 477-4357. Your calls will be 100% confidential. Now, caught on camera breaking and entering and leaving with a pair of miniature Jeeps. Early Sunday morning, 2 men could be seen burglarizing here in Harmon. One's dressed in a long-sleeved striped shirt and both were wearing masks at the time. The pair wheeled out 2 miniature Jeeps, one green and one black, before placing them on a commercial flatbed truck, possibly light gray or black. That incident has been reported to the police, as if you spot the men, you're urged to call 482-1600. That's 482-1600, or Guam Crime Stoppers, their number once again at 477-HELP. In policy news, a public hearing was held today for the Romeo and Juliet law, as it's so called. And while the Office of the Attorney General supports the language to reduce the charge for teens having consensual sex, one senator believes the bill sends the wrong message, especially considering Guam's high rate of criminal sexual conduct. Carmen Chalahi has our next story.
If Bill 50 passes, teens who have consensual sex and are less than 4 years apart in age could be slapped on the wrists with a misdemeanor instead of the current charge of a first-degree felony. Speaker Tina Muñoz Barnes puts her personal spin on the issue.
I'd be fooling this community if I didn't say on the opposite approach that why is my grandchild or why is my son going to be punished for having a relationship of a girl that's 2 years younger, but because he turned 18 and she's just moving up, that this relationship, because it's broken up, my grandson's going to be the one that's going to get it for criminal sexual conduct.
However, Dr. Ron McNinch voiced opposition.
I'm concerned that a law like this might send the wrong message. We scratch our heads and wonder, why are we the number 2 criminal sexual assault jurisdiction in the United States? We scratch our heads and wonder, why in the world do we have one of the highest teen pregnancy rates in the United States? And then we end up looking at things and saying, well, on the other hand, it's open season. Guam should not be open season. I think that a 14-year-old cannot give consent.
Attorney General Levin Camacho clarifies the law keeps the age of consent at 16, but says it's a headache to deal with cases when sex is, quote, willing between teens close in age, including 14 and 15-year-olds. But the law also reduces the penalty for consensual sex between 19-year-olds and someone aged 15.
We feel that it would be not just to treat and charge these types of offenders the same way that we are charging adults who forcibly rape other victims.
I just wanted, before I leave, to say under our current statute, you will get less jail time if you negligently or recklessly kill a 14 or 15-year-old than you would to have willing sex between a 17 and a 15-year-old. So I understand this body will set the penalty.
If you prosecute it that way, Mr. Camacho.
Senator Therese Terlahi questioned the AG on the necessity of the law and also said his office already has discretion in how they choose to charge or not charge teens who have consensual sex. Though unable to clarify how many teens are affected by this stiff penalty, Camacho says criminalizing teen sex does not allow his office the choice to offer therapy.
So doesn't the law right now allow the prosecutor to make a motion to the court that it can transfer these cases to family court when that's more just in their mind? When they want these people to avail of the services.
That would require the formal charging. And what Attorney Hinkle Sanchez would testify about is that the formal process of charging a juvenile offender, bringing them to court, increases the likelihood they will commit another offense.
Terlahi also raised concern with the timing of the bill.
It's very hard for me to get my head around a the Attorney General's office coming out in a time when we are facing this many sexual crimes and saying that we are going to send this message that 14-year-olds cannot consent. They cannot consent to sex. Their capacity is just not there. So we want to protect them from that, but it's going to be okay if they do it willingly with a 17-year-old. I just feel like we're sending these mixed messages in a time when we all need to get together and send a uniform message.
Meantime, senators also heard testimony for 2 other bills, one that will change the mandatory minimum sentence to 10 years without the possibility of parole for repeat sex offenders. Reporting for Guam News Network, I'm Carmen Victoria Terlahi.
All right, Carmen, thank you very much for that report. Elsewhere tonight, will the third time be a charm for gambling at the Liberation festivities? Senators held yet another public hearing on the rules and regulations for games of chance, as they are required before gaming will be allowed before back at the carnival. Mayors have pushed to get the rules approved because time is running out for would-be the biggest moneymaker. Anti-gambling groups have taken a fine-tooth comb to the regulations, but Mayor's Council Director Angel Sablan says it's ironic that carnival organizers have been bogged down by the process when unregulated gambling goes on every day throughout the territory.
We're being blind and we're being deaf. They're not being taxed, they're not being regulated, they're being left alone. And here we are trying to get something that we can tax and we can regulate only for 60 days so that we can get some money for the Liberation festivities. And we're here so far out from the beginning of the carnival.
Sablan says he knows of some vendors who may have had an interest a month ago but have no interest now because there is very little time left to build a house of cards. The carnival is scheduled to open a little over a month on June the 5th. Well, senators did meet briefly in session today, passing 5 bills and approving 1 board nomination. They approved a $150,000 appropriation for a center focused on autism and a separate measure increasing the age qualification and insurance cap for the treatment of autism spectrum disorder. Senators also authorized the leasehold mortgage for a new tennis center to be built by the Guam National Tennis Federation. They endorsed the grandfathering of electronic and other signs that were granted variances before May of 2017 and also removed fines for the members of the Education Department's Financial Supervisory Committee if the group fails to meet monthly. Finally, senators unanimously approved the nomination of Dr. Michael for the GMH Board of Trustees. Well, before we go to a break, there is good news to report as another batch of tax refunds are now in the mail. The Department of Administration says 900 tax returns covering error-free returns filed up through January the 28th of this year total almost $6.8 million. Congratulations to you if you are one of the 900 that will be receiving that check sometime soon in the very near future. Stay tuned. We are right back after this.
There are more ways to experience Guam via KUAM News, giving you what you want, when you want, and how you want it. From smart devices, Alexa, what's in the news?
Here's your flash briefing.
Over the web, on mobile, on streaming platforms, with immersive, interactive formats, and via social media where it's more than just content, it's conversation. More ways to keep you informed and entertained whenever you want it, wherever you are, on whatever device you're using.
A simple handshake. That's all Jake Calvo needed when he started his company. Today, 80 years later, we like to say thank you to all of you who have taken our hand in trust. Thank you to the dreamers. Thank you to the realists. Thank you to the family-oriented. Thank you to the entrepreneurial. Thank you to those climbing the corporate ladder. And to the ones starting a new life together. Thank you to the traditionalists and the edgy. To the young at heart and the old souls. Thank you to the daring, to the protective, to the practical. Thank you to the hopeful. To all of you from all of us, our deepest, happiest, and infinite thanks.
80 years here for you. 80 years thanks to you. Calvo's Insurance, a legacy of trust.
The next generation Galaxy has arrived. See it and believe it. The Infinity O display is the most innovative Galaxy screen yet. Capture the wider world. Take stunning photos with the 123-degree field of vision. Use your phone to charge other wireless charging devices. Don't just stand out, stand apart.
This is a bag. But for Steve, this bag gives him food cred. Because now everyone knows that when they have that craving, or they're just looking for the perfect deal, well, they just need to follow Steve.
Follow him all the way to the new McTerry Deluxe at McDonald's. It's an all-beef patty smothered with teriyaki sauce topped with lettuce and tomato on a sesame seed bun. For a limited time, price and participation may vary.
GU Self-Storage, conveniently located near the Harmon McDonald's. We offer affordable rates, online payments, and auto bill pay for your convenience. Plus gate access daily from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. Call us today at 648-7867 for more information.
A beautiful, healthy smile is an expression of confidence. The more confident you are about your smile, the more likely you are to fully express your feelings without having to worry about the way your teeth look.
Before cosmetic dentistry, I didn't smile as much. I didn't have the confidence, and it shows. And since I've had cosmetic dentistry done, I feel 10 times more confident. I make my initial introduction with a nice big smile and a handshake, and I just feel like it really is a relationship builder, a nice warm smile, and it makes the clients and customers feel more comfortable with you, feeling confident, and they feel that you're not just there for business, that you're also there kind of as a friend as well. So I mean, it's amazing how powerful a smile can be. A good smile.
Since your smile makes a significant impression on those around you, it is important that it makes the impression you want it to make.
Welcome back, everybody. Last Friday evening, just after sundown, units from GFD were called to a large grass and tire fire up Batulo Street near the Guam International Country Club golf course in Dedido. GFD says engines 10, 12, and 4 responded to the fire, with the Guam EPA and the mayor of Dedido called to the scene to assess the site for possible illegal dumping. Now, according to Dedido Mayor Melissa Savaras, her maintenance staff and the vice mayor had to use a backhoe so that firefighters could get to the seat of the fire. The fire was eventually contained at just short of 6:30, with GFD securing the scene about an hour later. An investigation is ongoing by the EPA. Well, we do want to send a big special congratulations out to our friend Jessica Barrett, who was named the 2019 Guam Business Magazine Businesswoman of the Year at the annual gala held over the weekend at the Hyatt. Barrett is the president of Barrett Enterprises, doing business as Barrett Plumbing. She was selected from 8 nominees as this year's program, which recognizes businesswomen making significant contributions to their industries and having demonstrated a strong commitment to their community. Also recognized and presented Lifetime Achievement Awards were Belta Perez and Donna Kloppenberg, also friends of ours. Congratulations, ladies. Elsewhere, the first ever fire truck pull for autism was held over the weekend at the Adelup complex and was a success. 24 teams signed up for a fun-filled day of competition and camaraderie, supporting individuals and families living with autism spectrum disorders. Placing first in the men's category was Team Integration from GPA with a time of 14.5 seconds. And in the COA division, taking top honors was Bank of Guam 2 with 15.75 seconds. Proceeds from the event benefit the nonprofit Autism Community Together organization. And bright and early Saturday morning, we at the KUAM Care Force and over 200 friends of ours from various schools, organizations, businesses, and GovGuam agencies hit the beachside along Agana Bay from East Agana to Paseo in Hagatna, picking up trash and waste as part of our annual Think Green cleanup event. Inspired by our spot, CTSI kicked off their 30th anniversary by also hosting a cleanup in Tumon. The Office of Senator Clint Rigel, also in coordination with the Federated States Community and the Ironwood Kids Organization, got their hands dirty, picking up trash and debris along the Ukuru pipeline. A big thank you to our partners IPE and Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, and for all of the volunteers that showed up, having fun and helping keep our island paradise exactly that. Thank you so much. Well, please stay tuned. Sports is next.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
IPE and Micronesia Climate Change Alliance, and for all of the volunteers that showed up, having fun and helping keep our island paradise exactly that. Thank you so much. Well, please stay tuned. Sports is next.
Your community calendar is brought to you by Taco Bell. Whether it's your first meal or your fourth meal, we've got you covered. Taco Bell, live Más.
Come on! Yeah! Here we go! Yeah! 1, 2, 3, 4! Come on! Let's go!
You can't always believe what you see. Like if I told you, hidden in the depths of this soft taco, you'd find crunchy, melty nachos. Would you believe me? Or are you just seeing things? The new loaded nacho taco from Taco Bell's Cravings Value Menu. Value beyond belief.
KUAM Sports is presented by Triple J.
What's up, Guam? Dave Delgado here for KUAM Sports. Thanks for watching. On the way, GHRA Basketball League highlights from the Tamuning Gym between Nico and Fiesta. But first off, golf from the Leo Palace Resort. Check it out. The 2019 Deuce It Smiles Golf Tournament was a success thanks to the island community and business sponsors who all chipped in and helped out. 77 teams participated in the event that was held at the Leo Palace Golf Course. All of the proceeds raised from the golf tournament will stay on island and benefit those kids in need of surgery for cleft lip and cleft palate procedures. After a day of golfing, participants enjoyed the awards banquet held at the Dusit Tani Resort, Guam. Big shout out to Dr. Richardson and Dr. Figueroa for what they do in the medical community.
We've generated over $50,000 so far. This year we think we'll do almost the same. The money goes to the kids here in Guam. We have two doctors, Dr. Figueroa and Dr. Richardson, that we work with. And the money goes to them to help them with the procedures that are involved in correcting a cleft palate. And tonight we'll have two of the children recipients that have had the operation, and they'll be with us tonight at the dinner. So, you know, this is our way of giving back to the community.
GHRA Basketball League highlights between Nico and Fiesta. Nico suiting up over 20 players for this matchup, while Fiesta's bench ran thin. Joel Aranas hits the baseline shot off the backboard. Fiesta trying to work the ball inside again. This time the defense steps up and forces the turnover. Lance San Lorenzo goes the opposite way for the easy layup for 2 points. Deep three-point attempt by Jazz. Gira Tumarang rims out.